gentlemen, please help me to welcome my dear friend of 25 years, parameeting ecologist Bob Dobbs, and the only muse alive today, Bob Dobbs. The way we're going to do this is if anybody has a question or a comment, just stand up, project your voice. If you feel you want a mic, happy to provide you with that. I think the acoustics in here are pretty good.
Put the lights down a little bit.
Can you change just the lights down?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, any questions, comments? Bob, you want to lead it off?
This is the first time anybody's seen Bob Marshall in person. This is the original Bob Marshall. So we're back in Pomona, right? We're back in Pomona right now. Brutal fucking murder. Couple of notes to remind me. The woman watching the TV is the reason for the movie, ostensibly. In the end, she gets her kid, right? Earlier in the movie, she's mad at Crimp because he won't bear her children. What's that? Okay. What's interesting is Crimp is the phantom, and the woman looking at all the movie through the TV has been dealing with Crimp through 3 lifetimes, it seems. Back in the 20s, with divorce and early cars, then through the dirty, beat-up Laura Dern. We don't know her name, but the one who testifies or comes to the therapist for figuring out what time it is. And then you have Nikki, who plays Sue. And she has to kill Crimp at the end. And the gun that's given to her in the bedroom was made possible by Carolina, or the woman watching the TV, because when she meets with the rabbit people up in the room, they're like a secret committee of old men, and they become the rabbits. So she can be seen by the middle, what do we call it? The beat up Laura Dern. Her husband has come to get the gun, but you can't see Carolina, who I'm saying Carolina, that's her name later. You will see in the credits that the last girl, the first credit, is the woman who gets the baby at the end, the one looking at TV. Her real name is Carolina. She's Carolina in the movie. She's the person that Laura Dern, as the beat-up woman, no, as maybe the beat-up woman, the second Laura Dern, that Nikki is among the prostitutes, and she comes to the club and she says, "Let me in, I'm going to be murdered." And she says, "I know Carolina." She goes upstairs, and Carolina is doing the dance in the red room, which could be the realm of the red curtains in Twin Peaks, but without digressing.
How about a question, Bob?
No, just let me finish this.
Pause. And then
See, the question is what time it is. Now, if you ever get a chance to get the DVD of this movie, or he says, David Lynch says, film is dead. This is not a film. He says it's something else, a digital project. But when you get the DVD and look at the special features, there's another hour and a half of this movie. And it's called, in the features list, it says, more things that happen. What you find out in that one is we'll call it the second Laura Dern beat up She says in the new scenes, which is just continuing the movie he's been doing since 1976 or before Eraserhead, she says, the way I calibrate it, I'm 41 and it's 1960. She says this to the therapist, very interesting. So she's in the early 60s. Then the Carolina character is a person in the 20s. And Laura Dern in the movie, who was known, the later one, Nikki, the actress Nikki who becomes Sue, she's reviewing these three scenes, and she finally figures it out, gets the gun, and gives it to Carolina, who then gets her husband and child back. That's the hallelujah. That's getting to Pomona. The party, the cast party at the end. Everybody's happy. Now what's interesting is the last song is sung by Nina Simone. Nina Simone, it came out after she died, was a bipolar person, typical actress, typical performer, singer, and everything she did. Lynch is, it's almost like a tribute to Nina Simone, how she went through all these difficulties, a woman in trouble in her career in Hollywood. And at the end, you have a little girl doing karaoke with her song, simulating Nina Simone, which goes back into the problems of being an actress. So two final points. This movie was made a couple years ago, exactly when Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and a few others you've probably heard and come through, Pamela Lee Anderson, whatever her name is before. So he's responding to the news, the trash culture quote or celebrity culture breakdown in 2003, 2004, 2006, 2005. So at the beginning of the movie it says, when they arrive on the set, Nikki and Devin, it says, on high in blue tomorrows. The black woman with the light when Laura Dern or Nikki is dying, or whatever, I guess she's Sue, says no more blue tomorrows. So on high is the movie's a view from the angelic level, if you believe in life after death, of all time happening at the same time. But it's this is my final point, Bob. It's confused by the electronic simulation of all time, because if you notice, when they put the cigarette in the silk, the first time they go through, the needle on the original record player, ancient record player, is going. And then later when it shows the silk, it's the same time she makes a call on the phone and gets to the rabbit people. So the electric environment is a new breakthrough. At the beginning, Crimp is saying to the Godfather guy, who's become has come from the rabbit image, he says, I want an opening. I want a hole. I want to get through. So they're looking for an opening. The traditional way was to put the cigarette burn in the silk screen and go through into time and go into multi-time travel. Keeping in mind that David Lynch is a transcendental meditation guy. He's into Maharishi since 1973, so he's in the occult, whatever you want to call it. And then you have the Carolina, the woman looking through TV. She's looking at a modern hole, the television screen, and seeing all times coming in through her life. So we need to look at not just an astral projection of on high in blue tomorrows. There's the electric digital environment, which McLuhan explained. Why I said to him that McLuhan relates to this issue. There's a confusion of time and space for both people living in the media, people who live by the media, and traditional endless play of the brutal fucking murder that everybody experiences at some time in life, metaphorically or physically, which is the tragedy of the human dimension and the pain that leads to Pomona in the end. I rest my case.
There were some hands up earlier. You in the back?
Yes.
Speak up, like stand up and we'll get back.
Axon N, the longest radio play in history.
Just
The first word spoken in the film.
yeah, you hear that? He's saying, you know,
Axon
Mike?
It's okay, we're talking.
Axon N. You see it on the door that Nikki goes through a few times.
Yeah, you
Axon
see the
N.
AXXNNO1.
The graffiti that is repeated two or three times.
So the very first thing, when the needle drops on that little record, Axon N, the longest running radio play in history.
Yeah,
I thought that was wonderful.
right, that the first words said
Yeah.
in the movie are axon something. Now, isn't an axon part of a synaptic nerve
Axon
ending?
N, yeah, and he's on Lynch's site. It's an unfinished a pay-per-view thing that you can see along with the rabbits and Dumbland, but I've never seen Axon and released serialized. But
But
it's
it's-
incorporated some of his ideas in this film, and I'd like your thoughts.
It's listed there, you told me. The phrase Axon is listed on the site, but nothing, doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah, working on it.
Which is working on it, which is the opposite of this movie, because that is the Alice in Wonderland hole that she goes down. You see that, she goes in. And for me, Axon, you take the numerological meanings, you got A, X, X, N, N. Then two little zeros and a one after the second N. You just take the A, X, X, N, N. N is the 14th letter. Second N is another 14th letter. And you have X, X. X is the 24th letter. 2 and 4 becomes 6. And then the other X, 24th letter, 2 and 4 is 6. So you got 6. So A, X, X, N, N. A is 1. So X, X, 6, 6, 14, 14. Add 6, 14, you get 20. The other 6, 14, you get 20. So you got 1, 20, 20. You cancel the zeros off the 20, you get 122, which is the magic number I filmed outside there. It says on the plaque, 220, and then 122 underneath. I've said for years that 122 is the more powerful, power, as they sing at the last of the song, the more powerful number, more than 22. So it's interesting that AXXNN, the first little wiggles, it might be the crimp making his hypnotic wiggle, doesn't have numerical values, is 122. So that's an interesting pattern. That's what I think about that, the AXXNN. But it's replaying the Alice in Wonderland theme. McLuhan said that Lewis Carroll, when he wrote Alice in Wonderland, he moved into non-Euclidean mathematics since he was a professor of math. And he was going into post-visual space, post-Newtonian math, laying down the groundwork for Einstein and other people in the 20th century. But he writes this metaphor of the little girl going through a hole into immeasurable space, not knowing what time it is. There's a line in Medium is a Massage where McLuhan quotes Alice in Wonderland saying, I know who I was this morning, but I don't know who I am now. So the confusion of identity, time, and space is one level Lynch is talking about, the effect of being in Hollywood. So that's in Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, maybe even Eraserhead. An image that comes back in Eraserhead is a little puppet lady on the stage. Doesn't he look at the radiator in Eraserhead? There's a little woman singing on a stage. That seems to be a theme, the theatrical experience and then the movie version.
Another question? Anybody have any
And you
questions?
can make
I
observations.
had Bergman's persona, too.
Beg pardon?
Bergman's persona with the woman lost in her identity through the theater.
When did Persona come out? Early 60s?
Early 60s.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that. So is that enough?
Yeah, she turns dumb on stage and enters a hospital environment.
A lot like this sort of.
Yes.
But this woman doesn't go into therapy really. She does it on her own, right? But they have a therapeutic model for the AMA sponsored the movie, so they wanted people to go to the hospital and believe it.
Yeah, the other thing I thought was striking was that there's this cut-up environment, right? That's almost like a Memento style.
Yeah,
Like it's all discombobulated and yet there is continuity.
he's remembering,
Yes.
like Memento, yeah.
Remembering and projecting at the same time.
Can I say something about that? Is this your first time seeing this film?
Yes, definitely.
This is my 6th time seeing it. And the 4th time that I saw it on DVD, I sped up the DVD to 52 times just to see what kind of an effect I would get from trying to watch this film sped up at 52 times rate. And with each consecutive viewing, and including that 4th, I think it was my 3rd or 4th viewing where I sped it up, what I noticed was that the film seems to be perfectly edited. I say seems to be. And with each consecutive viewing, I find that the gap in this idea that there seems to be some disjoint or inconsistency is almost erasing itself away. It just seems to be perfect. It seems to make perfect sense.
You mean not edited, the narrative becomes obvious.
The narrative
They
becomes
continue-
there's this exposing of more and more narrative. And every time that I see it, because it is quite a dense film, but it's almost this dualistic thing. It's dense, but at the same time, it's not. And I have aspects of looking at it at times, and it's like, this just makes perfect, this just continues, the narrative is perfectly logical.
Well, it shows you go from one scene to the next, but it doesn't make sense in normal living framework of why she's going on a different scene. But if you think that there's multi-dimensionals happening on one level, then you can see it's logically, she's going from one scene to another, but it goes back to what she says to Darren when they're making love, and she says, Darren, it's me, Nikki. And she explains going down the alleyway, which leads to the axon, but she says, I went in there and all my memory flooded back. Is it that scene or another scene? But anyways, at some point she says, my memory, all of a sudden this memory I didn't know came back.
Not in the marketplace, in the alley behind the marketplace. That's the way to the cops.
Right, then you come back to the original lady who comes to the house, the sinister lady. Does everybody agree that Pomona, that the beginning is her home, Nikki's home is in Pomona? Is that the home they're having the party in, at the end?
Yeah.
That's Nikki's house from the opening shot.
Right.
That is the house in Pomona that is referenced by the Oriental girl and the black woman who are discussing Pomona.
So when they say it's the longest running play, radio play, it's repeating all the time. There's something always obviously being repeated. And the sinister lady at the beginning who comes to the door, she knows the whole pattern. Says you're going to do it again.
Right.
You're going to get killed. Or maybe not get killed. Because it ends up to be potentially a happy ending.
Right. Well, she tells I'm assuming it's a Polish folktale.
Yeah.
So she talks about the little boy,
And
allowing evil,
they-
and the variation.
let me just,
So perhaps it's the key to
no, just
what
so,
you're saying
I
as
want
far
you
as
to say, I'm
variation.
going to erase that for you. You can do it again better. I've interrupted.
Yeah.
But remember, she goes, the first time she's with her mogul husband, they're with this old couple, and she claims not to understand Polish.
Right.
But the husband seems to know that she does. Okay, this is what you were just doing again.
No, just the one line where you were first introduced to the setting for one of the primary themes about the little boy goes out to play, leaves the door open, evil follows.
I'd say that's grim.
Crank. And then she goes, and the variation. A little girl goes out as if half-born. So the little girl, the variation is a representation of Dern's character, who is both past, present, and future. So she's time traveling, and it's always the same person. So she's meeting her past self, if you subscribe to reincarnation.
Through those
Suspension
girls.
of disbelief, right.
Through the girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even, just to interrupt, I could suggest that Augustine, when he was struggling with his understanding of self, I mean, his confession is the first narrative of the self in literary history.
Yes.
And what does he do in, I think it's chapter 10 or chapter 11, he expounds on memory. What's actually going on inside of there, being able to recollect something and yet retain it in the present moment, and it's almost like a
Memory
little
theater.
window into the eternal.
Yeah.
Which is what he's after, is what is this third dimension, this cosmos that we're a part of, that we only get fragmented windows into.
Right, so McLuhan says the phonetic alphabet created that third space in Greek culture, but it doesn't get consolidated until Augustine, which is 800 years later. The phonetic alphabet coming in 500 BC, 400 BC. What's interesting, Arthur Croker mentions that the eternal paradox of classical Greek Hellenic experience, they can't resolve the paradoxes. And Augustine comes up with a third space, like you said, an abstract space which becomes the repository of the psyche, which resolves the sensual paradoxes and contradictions of life, of the pagan world. And you have this abstract space, which McLuhan says is created by phonetic space. And then you have the manuscript culture of the church and visual space, reading before is based on memory, because it's an abstract memory. For tribal people, Homer and before, they act out memory. They don't have it registered on a page. So it seems Lynch is bringing in media dynamics. He shows that the electric age confuses memory.
Is this one supposed to be?
I'm sorry, what confuses memory? What confuses memory? Sorry, say that
The
again.
electric age, when you have instant replay. So at the end, when the last Lord Dern sees this woman discussing being in the center of a theater, the lights are down, but it's the previous from 1960 Laura, and she's watching and identifying with this woman telling her, and she's on the screen, and the real Laura Dern's just done a movie.
Yeah.
She can't see it, but she's experiencing what this woman is saying. So the mixture of modern replay. McLuhan said the instant replay is the most confusing metaphysical breakthrough for humans, because you have the experience. Normally in life, you have the experience and the meaning. With the instant replay, you have the meaning before the experience.
So where's the thing above? Remember, that space above, that ethereal,
Right,
abstract
on
space
high.
that's helping her resolve this.
Right, On High, Blue Tomorrows. And it seems that
Oh, okay.
On High and Blue Tomorrows is the name of the movie at the
Right.
beginning.
And also the woman,
That could be the print version, or it could be the astral version, the occult version, or it could be a way of looking at the electric environment. But what's interesting, when she looks, the old Simpson lady comes back just before they go into Pomona, and the Simpson lady gets Laura during the look. She sees this angelic, balanced or something, Laura sitting on the couch looking at her like a goddess, right? That would be her higher self. You see what I'm saying? That the last Laura sitting there on the couch with a blue dress on and just
yes, yeah.
totally
Yeah.
blissed out or aware or enlightened, and she's looking from on high. So that could be the angel. But you can bring in Augustine and infuse a memory for secular reality. And that's the meaning dynamics. I've always was impressed with Lynch, and there's an article on Vanity Fair, it was really big after Blue Velvet, and that period when he was married to Isabella. He says he's doing a bunch of paintings, and they're shown in the New York gallery. And he says, what they ask him, well, what's the common theme in your paintings? He says, the electric baby. Now, what's the electric baby? It's an interesting phrase. They showed a few paintings in magazines, but I can't remember them. But you think of the little baby in a race train. But the electric baby is this timeless zone that modern digital and electronic media brings all times back, instant replays, the recording, at the beginning, recording, and that's a way to a new dimension. So he seems to be bringing in media dynamics. Maybe he read McLuhan when he's in college or wherever, I don't know how much it's in there.
It's interesting, I just finished reading an essay for some other course, yeah, I just finished reading an essay, and the suggestion in the 1800s when the telegraph came out, it separated the need of communication to follow transportation. It displaced it so that I could communicate without having to travel.
That's right.
I could just actually speak into a microphone or tap on it. And so that dislocation created a new environment.
Yeah.
And actually the political economy around that talked about this as a mystical element. I just was bouncing off of some of the things you just mentioned. That there was this kind of ethereal environment that was established through the magic of electricity that's now most manifest for us in multimedia, right?
You've touched on a theme I've talked about a lot in different formats, different media. First of all, Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote in House of Seven Gables in the 1850s. He said the telegraph makes a centralized universal membrane. The metaphor McLuhan uses 100 years later, Nathaniel Hawthorne described it. Apparently he and Melville were corresponding about these issues. But there's another book, Spirit in the Air, about all that seance that just started just south of us in Rochester. The first psychic ladies. What? Might have been. I think there's the Fry sisters, but in the 1850s they were all of a sudden channeling and doing seances. Became a big fad, and everybody thought it was a metaphor for the telephone, or before that the telegraph. So definitely, the electric is historically recognized that people thought electricity was moving into a spiritual dimension, and so the occult fascination happened. And Pulaski formed the Theosophical Society in 1875. Under that impact, it came out of Rochester and upstate New York. So fed. So yeah, definitely the psychic element. So I say, when you talk about being in two places, when you're on the phone, and I'm talking Japan, I'm in Japan, and Japan is here. They have a conference call, 20 people. Now, I can get things done in Japan just by ordering, asking them to be done. I don't need to get in a boat and go over there, like the old hardware transportation. I'm transported immediately with software. Think of telegraph, telephone, with software. So the sender of the message is sent to, and the receiver of the message is sent back. So that was a basic insight that Pound and Lewis and James Joyce got in the radical modernist tracks. They bring that. Then McLuhan develops that. But I call that the cloning of ESP. Traditional ESP, communication beyond what your hardware body can do, is now being created, simulated by the electric environment, the telegraph, telephone, and on. So that's a cloning. We're waiting for people to clone bodies and their genes, but we've already cloned the central nervous system, or whatever the psychic part that Rupert so this is a really triumph, because he's replaying all his themes from the previous movies, and including the outrageous occult level, or the idea that people reincarnate or have many times happening and replay themselves in the same karmic replay of a crime. Because it's interesting that
Okay, is it also in
Excuse
a,
me, can I just interrupt for 1 second, just on a technical point? When we need people to use this mic, not hold it too close, about this level, please.
Okay, all right.
So. Please. Not too close, not too close, like there.
all right, I'm not too good with the mysticism part of it, but I'm just wondering, oh, what?
Keep it.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Am
put
I
your
saying
head
it?
back. It's gonna pick it up.
Is it, when we're talking about, you're saying replaying, things are being replayed, you're going past, present, future, and I can't help but thinking in terms of this constant, now, it's all the stream, everyth's happening in the present.
Yeah.
In other words, well, I'm Jewish, so I'm not going to throw the religion on, but there's this, one of the words of God is Yud K Vav K, will be, is, and was. And that's meaning becoming perfect, yet always perfect, but always becoming perfect. You said becoming, if you said perfect, that would be too finite. So it's this infinite thing that's going on, this constant play of a now. There's no future, there's no past.
Right.
I don't know if this is yesterday, she says.
Right.
I don't know if it's today. It's like, it's ongoing.
And
It's just weird and powerful.
Right.
I don't know if it's yesterday, but today's slipping away.
Today's slipping away, right?
Yeah,
She said, and I don't care about tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't care about this.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Because no, tomorrow never comes. It doesn't.
And the other instance where the woman comes to visit the house near the beginning, the kind of the prophetic
Yeah.
sorcerer type individual, and she says, you're calling this today, but it's tomorrow, it'll happen tomorrow, some little dynamic like that. So again, transporting out of time so that there is no time.
right, and she's so used to it. She says, I'm the worst. I can't remember anything. Ooh, silly me, you know.
She remembers everything.
Yeah, she knows what's coming.
And she's the one that referred to the little Polish myth
Fairy tale.
narrative too.
Yeah, the gypsy tale. She
Yeah.
brings in the Polish scene. But does she have a Polish accent?
The woman who
At the beginning.
brutal fucking murder?
Yeah.
It's an intentional, to the best of my understanding,
Yeah.
thick Polish accent.
And she's American, the actress.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she played Laura Palmer's mother in Twin Peaks. So back to your point.
Well, there's a little bit of word about, because I need to have people use the money, so.
Well, I'm gonna speak. I just wanna respond to you.
Go ahead.
The Kabbalah or Jewish insight, which may be in a lot of religions on the esoteric level, that I think is the given that's in nature. I don't know if it's true or not, but that is a theme in nature or in the mystical tradition. I think the electric environment confuses, extends, amplifies that, because we have all times going on right now in the media environment. Because there's documentaries and footage and pictures, more than anybody can remember, and therefore, even if it's only a million pieces of pictures, pieces of photograph, and it has to be a billion to be considered all time. No, it doesn't matter. A million is enough. You're not going to see them all. But in relation to your own perception of memory, that's a lot. How's it called all time happening? Instant replay. So that's the factor he seems to be working on. He mixes up because he's talking about these Britney Spears problem. Because when she says, this is like our script, you know, it's interesting having watched it 5 times, the shifts. Like when, okay, everything's going on, they're doing the rehearsing. And then they start, it gets sinister as she and Devin get a little more involved. And at one point, she slips into confusion about whether she's doing a play or it's her personal life, right?
There will be consequences. Dark they will be. To your actions.
And when I
I'm
first
going to put my arm around you now, Bob. And I'm going to hold you close. Our actions have consequences. And dark they will be. Can I give somebody else a chance who spoke?
Brian.
Brian, stand up and really project, please.
Use the mic.
No, the mics, we're having problems with the conflicting mics. Well, you know,
No mic.
please stand up and project. Stand up and project. We're all friends
So I
here.
can stand up. Just thinking about the Augustine connection, the theme of confused memory and going through the hole to the past.
Yeah.
That
Or to the future, maybe.
it almost seems like or to
you go through the vanishing point, the little point then expands into some other non-visual interdimensionality.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking on an interesting image near the end when we kept returning a few times to this bright, beautiful light that had kind of shifting forms and we weren't sure what it meant. There was different music projected on it. And then we saw two different versions of kind of pulling away from it and seeing its source. But the first one, you don't get to see its source because it doesn't really have one. It was just a shift of kind of digital
Blinding.
tapestry, pixely,
Blinding.
getting confused.
Yeah, blinding.
Sure, yeah.
Both
Basically,
the
like
definition.
being blind somehow.
So at the end of the movie,
But then when we see it again, we see it as a light way up, the spotlight that's on you in the theater, and there's a kind of a static crowd cheering or something. So I guess maybe I'm thinking to tie back into the celebrity thing, that maybe fame on that electric level, because you always got word of mouth fame, fame's the whole thing, but fame on an electric level particularly confuses.
in the rabbit zone, remember,
Okay, you just said about the light. And the light repeats itself. When the black woman turns on the lighter,
yeah,
she says, "This a light and burns bright." And with Bucky J, bring down that 2K. So there's this repeated theme that you're addressing about the light.
the spiritual light,
The spiritual
and
light,
the
the
technical light.
transcendental meditation component. And Lynch is repeating it with the light, the 2K, and other times with light.
And the black woman says to the dying woman, she says, "You're high, no more blue tomorrow."
Yeah,
There's something about being high. Or
you're going into the
becoming
light.
high. What?
You're going into the light. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
but she says the word high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also uses absence in the light.
Yeah, the whole darkness.
Very disturbing.
Can I pick people to speak just to keep some good order? So, no, go ahead, finish your thought.
To that fish.
Okay, in the back?
No, let me respond to Brian about, see, you have to remember that when the director describes the original play at the beginning, what was his title? Anybody remember?
Oh, yeah.
4-7, which is the number on the door into the rabbit
Oh,
zone.
well, yeah.
And the rabbit zones, they sit there like this, frozen. After a few watches, I said, that's Lynch's image of everybody being meditative. He's really into people meditating. So all of a sudden they kind of meditate, and they discuss time. And she goes, "I don't know what time it is," or something. And they're waiting for the phone call. She finally phones them. She's broken through into the rabbit zone, which could be the electric world. It's not just a meditating scenario. The electric world, which is mutating people. The rabbits are us under electric conditions, and they're waiting for the next star to come through and realize what happened. So she stands there at the end, and the blue light crystallizes, and she's getting this big electronic soundtrack of applause. She's arrived.
Bob, can you stand back a little more, like around here?
Oh,
Address it.
So, that guy.
Okay, who's in the back? Can you stand up and like project?
Okay,
Thank you.
in the rabbit group, there are always 3 rabbits.
Yeah.
There are always 4 shadows.
Is that right?
Excellent. I've seen the movie 6 times. I've never picked up on that. See, there's just 4 shadows and 3 rabbits.
Foreshadowing?
4 shadows.
I got an instant.
Excellent point.
Got an instant.
The train,
But I got an instant pattern on that. When you're with the 3 old men, they're like the Godfather community,
Yeah.
who give the husband the gun. There's 3 of them, and then there's Carolina. Carolina just comes and goes, and their husband, the guy can't see her, the human. But those 3 guys become rabbits in this exact same position. One gets up and goes where the woman's ironing. So they become the 3 rabbits. So the 4th one would be the person that's coming through, or it's Carolina. It's really Carolina's drama. She's the one who gets it at the end. Who gets the it's like Laura comes through the astral plane and kisses her, but she's not there, and then they get their kid back. It's the whole issue of whether you're going to have a kid or not, or whether you. And remember this: the beat up middle order. Her husband gets kissed off because he didn't father the kid. He can't have kids.
I have a question. Harry Dean Stanton's one of his first lines is, "They say I have a way with animals.
Yeah.
I watch dogs reason their way." Then that line gets repeated by Laura Dern's second husband, her second incarnation, her middle incarnation, where he says, "I have a way with animals." What is this way with animals? Like, I'm still
Yeah, what's
bringing out the animal component, the animal level with this recurring theme of having a way with animals?
What comes to mind is in this, the additional part, he shows, there's a segment, and you've seen it, where the guy's a circus. The second guy is an animal trainer, and he's training a horse.
Right.
So Lynch really develops that in the extended scenes that you haven't seen yet. When I see animals, I always think of McLuhan's book, and this is just a personal projection, it's not necessarily the answer, he said new media environments are the new animals. And so that both we'll call us and first nature animals, we retreat, become microorganisms, while the media become huge macroorganisms the way traditionally first nature animals were. But human-created animals, technologies, are the new problem. They're running amok. So I sometimes think of that, but I was puzzling this time about what would be the animals. Is it Lynch as a director dealing with the actors? Is it the mogul, the latest Laura Dern's husband who kills people, he runs Hollywood, and there's a level where all those women are people that he's used. And then
And just let you know, the pillow that the
That's
black
Robin's on.
actually has several animals,
Right.
and it's blue. And she lays her head on it as she's dying, and it's blue.
oh yeah, so that's got animals on it?
Yeah.
Because there's a
Oh,
scene
yeah.
before that, they just show her sleeping in the bed, in the bedroom kind of place, the orange room. And that's after she's been told by one of the women, prostitutes, whatever they are, that in the future you will be in a state of mind where you're half dreaming, won't be a complete dream. Which is the state we're in with electric media. Joyce called it fitting awake, dreaming awake. When you watch television, you're like that woman. You're watching an environment, you're inside it, and you're dreaming, projecting it, and you're awake. That's strange compared to physiological dreaming, or what I call first nature dreaming. So the animals is something, yeah, I haven't figured out about.
I think the only thing like that is really
Yeah.
If you really wanted to explore his psyche, I mean, you could just go away with him.
One of the subgeniuses.
But see, I'm afraid to do that. I don't know if I want to be locked away in a.
They'll never come back.
Yeah, or locked away in some
Jerry,
put you in work.
ashram.
one of the subgeniuses, one of the subgeniuses.
rocks.
Don't carry that stuff over there, Bill. You know, with this
Yeah, he'll put you to work. Is that what you said? He'll put you to work?
this adenoidal voice coming at you in the morning. Well, rise and shine, boy.
30 seconds. You're 30 seconds late. He does this on DVD. He gets mad on the set.
It's inexcusable.
Yeah, it's inexcusable. 30 seconds late. But Jerry, on Slack a year or so ago, when Lynch was coming out with this, some subgenius went to one of these retreats.
yeah.
It drove him out the wall. He said,
bad.
in the end, he decided that Lynch was like an idiot savant. He's an idiot in normal social life. He just says everything's beautiful and he doesn't really register. But then he channels these great movies. But he ain't someone you want to hang out. So that guy would agree with you. It may not be worth going. You should. What would be good is me and him leading the fucking seminar. We could really have it out. Me and Lynch. You know what I mean? If I was there, countering the boredom that Lynch created, we'd have an interesting. Lynch would say, "Fuck you, Bob. It's not about the electric
see, I don't know if
I never even
understand
read
the
McLuhan."
symbolize
I say, "Yes, you
the way
did."
you do.
What?
He needs his films to discuss that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think he could for
That's
a
what's
while.
good about this. Maybe you'll get to them because we actually had a good discussion. You read reviews, most people say, "I don't know what this is about. It's about reality, illusion," and they just cop out. You know.
He'll talk about mood and it's the textures.
Yeah.
But he won't talk about much more than that.
Ideas
He doesn't need to, I don't think.
No.
That's why you're here. This
Yeah,
is
we're
very informative.
translating him. I'm the St. Augustine, right? But this is what it meant.
Yeah. Well, it filled in a lot of blanks for me. That was great.
Yeah, no, it was good. I every time I talk to somebody, I get new ideas about it.
Some great
But it's sort of interesting how it's the same ancient story of a brutal fucking murder and the tragedy of that and the guilt and then the cover-up, and yet then he layers that simple eternal story with all those other complications.
Well, what's interesting too is that the whole child that now, they never said the child is dead. She said that I lost my boy. Never that my boy is dead. I lost my boy.
Well, that's not on the tape. We went to do
Well,
add
I'm
that.
going like this.
Yeah, the
When the
correction.
little boy opens the door, casts a reflection. The reflection becomes the evil thing.
Yeah.
And he's with the doppelgangers.
Greg will get
This
this.
is the doppelganger.
Here's the big thing I wanted to say about male-female. The male is a little boy and a reflection. That's like a mirror image. That could be called left hemisphere. The woman goes down a hole. That's visceral and like not in a perspective, it's involvement. Women are more inside the space. Like she doesn't have a flexion follower, she just gets lost in the marketplace. And she's half-born.
Half-born.
You know,
That's
that
right.
phrase is really good.
Half-born.
So there's a male, female.
This is this.
Yeah, caught in between.
That's like,
You were talking about the religious aspect.
Which you
Didn't
were
that little boy,
fucking bored with, weren't you? You don't like the religious, no, if
Did-
Daniel was here, you wouldn't like it.
did the little boy
You get
when he
that,
came
Daniel?
in,
You get that, Daniel?
Yeah, yeah,
Were you
yeah.
a little hit at Daniel?
when the little boy came in, he looked like a priest. Did you notice?
What little, oh, the final at the end.
Yeah. It looked like a little priest was in the
Is
room.
that right?
I don't know. It looked like he had a collar on.
He was there as the midget. He was a midget
Yeah,
priest.
yeah, yeah.
And that was a Fellini film. It was a totally different filmmaker. Yeah, Fellini.
Fellini had a midget
I'm
priest?
sure he must have.
It'd be interesting to go back to see, like, he brought up a good point about persona, the effect of theater confusing a woman. So you go back and see, what, Fellini, is he dealing with these Lynch themes, you know?
Did this ever released theatrically?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's one thing that he's distributes himself.
Yeah.
It's one film that's all his. It was at the Royal for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You know, the Royal is no longer a review cinema anymore. It's kind of private, but they still do this stuff. But they have a bunch of avids upstairs, so they do this kind of thing. But that was the limited engagement in
Right.
Toronto.
So here's what happened
I'm not gonna
yesterday.
sit in one of those
But did he
chairs
blow
in
it up to
front.
35 for
Yeah,
theatrical?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, remember, what was that Frank Zappa and the Mothers film? It was the first film shot on video.
200 Motel.
Yeah, and then,
Motels.
you know, that's basically what he did.
But here's the thing, Bob got a call yesterday from a guy who has the rights for any public performance of Lynch movies. And so at first it looked like just a message, so he thought, oh, we're gonna call back, find out we can't do it. But the guy was nice, and he said, what you need to know is that I'm responsible for any public projection of Lynch movies, and they must be 35 millimeter. You will not tolerate DVD broadcastings or performances. And he said, that's the rule, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead with it, but just keep me in the loop by email.
That's
So
cool.
Lynch has this aesthetic standard. He only wants it shown 35 millimeter, and he does it all over the States. There are community showings, but apparently it's a 35
I can
millimeter.
totally
That's
understand
what I
why you would
noticed.
do that.
Oh, yeah, the
because-
blacks weren't
oh,
black enough. and
gosh.
It was mostly mid-tone. The
Yeah,
thing is,
it's
like,
completely gray.
Yeah.
there's so much detail.
Doesn't work.
And the guy is such a master with lighting.
But he's
And it
painting, that's
didn't
his
really-
painter
yeah,
self.
It didn't really come across with this
Yeah.
system. You know,
No, it's
Well, I
brutal.
found that with the
real
bigger...
fucking murder.
Yeah, it is, on the
Yeah,
picture,
it was
yeah.
fucking murder. We killed him tonight. But I watching it with the bigger screen, I heard more. Maybe the sound was
The
better. or
sound was
something.
down too. I mean.
Down?
Yeah, it was,
Wasn't good enough?
no. it should
Well,
be
I
loud,
saw,
Should be loud, should be really.
But I heard more. I said, this is great. I said, shit, I'm missing so much watching on a computer or TV.
Oh,
That's what I was
okay.
passing
Well,
thought.
Surrounded.
I saw a
Yeah.
clip of it on television. The color was completely different than what I saw here
Oh, yeah?
tonight.
Oh,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know it's punchy,
I saw
it's
the
good.
whole, I saw a whole sequence, that bit where she gets stabbed in the street, and it looks completely different on television.
And you remember that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
Remember how stark
Oh,
the
yeah,
sear-
yeah.
Puking blood on Jean Harlow's star.
Is that what it
looking.
was?
I don't see Jean Harlow.
You
Where
don't
do you see that?
I thought it said.
Maybe in a better 35
I
millimeter you can
I
see
thought
it.
it's Jean Harlow.
Well, this is probably blurred. But did you see it?
That's what I thought I saw.
I was looking and I
But
see
it's,
no
it's,
name.
it's either, no, there's a name there, definitely. I thought it was Harlow, but I just think it's a wonderful thing. Blonde barfing on a blonde.
Right. Jean Harlow is the first freak-out person. She's in the 20s, isn't she?
No,
Jean Harlow's
30s.
the 30s.
30s?
Yeah.
But is she? Well, there was disasters before her, but she's before
That's
Marilyn
correct.
Monroe.
She's before
She
Lombard.
died rather tragically,
Yeah,
I think.
I think
Carol
she-
Lombard died tragically.
Well, that was in a plane crash.
Yeah.
I think Jean Harlow,
I don't know whatever happened.
I think she got sick.
She
I
had
think
a
she
problem.
was ill.
Okay.
So all those girls were all those previous
Harlow
Hollywood
was-
stars. You know, the prostitutes.
That's a wonderful thing too.
yeah. And they're just
that-
cheap nothings, you know, from Lynch's point of view.
Well, at Hollywood and Vine, this is why you campaigned to have Laura Dern win and be
campaigned
nominated
that quarter
with a cow.
With a cow.
You know, let's give milk to the, you know, what a
What's
wonderful
that
thing.
mean? Like Buddhist?
There's a better way of,
Hindu?
if you just Google it, I forget it now.
So-
It really was poetic.
The cow had something to do with Laura Dern, other than just getting
yeah,
votes.
Hollywood itself, yeah, sure.
Oh, the milk.
Yeah.
The safe as milk.
Milk as opposed to water.
Neon Meat Dream of the Octopus. Some of Beefheart's titles, who Lynch is a fan of,
Oh, he should be.
fit into Lynch's themes. Didn't you like that last song, Nina Simone?
I love Nina Simone.
Yeah. And then,
I'd like
you gotta go?
Sorry to break up the play. It's number one
yeah,
film,
it's
and I've only
last- we
paid
should
for
get to
this
the point.
place, and so,
Get my bag. That's my bag. It's Duffel's bag.
This is probably pub food. It's nice to, you look the same.
What do you think of the?
Honest to God.
What do you think of the movie?
Don't worry, Jerry. If they've got through the last 15 or 20 years the way they've been doing it, they can get through this.
Nice to meet you. Take it easy. I gotta take all this equipment back.
Why April, Jerry?
I can't.
Oh, I'm making a silent exodus from
Are you
this,
really?
from this little place.
You are?
Yeah, just for a little while.
What, from Toronto?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, finally. I've been
Where are you
meaning
going?
to leave
Where are you going?
forever. I
Do
haven't
you know?
really decided yet. I'm packing my things, putting on a backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Go find myself in Europe, you know, like a
Be fun.
23-year-old girl.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that.
No.
No.
Okay, good.
His voice is higher. You know, I don't know. It's the helium thing. I think it's the.
What's that?
Your
Are you
voice.
going along? or-
My voice?
Oh, no, I'll just
it's
say good night.
Yeah.
Cold infection.
You sound the same.
No, you're saying my voice is higher?
Yeah, Tim said your voice is higher.
No, just not. It's the mucus.
I was,
I had to prevent my. Did you see me walk over the screen at the end? I went over and spit in the garbage bin before I.
Did
said
you
the
really?
top. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah. What do you mean? You mean I shouldn't have brought that up? Is that what
No,
you're
no,
saying?
it's okay.
No, okay.
No, that was a
You
nice thing to
generally
do.
did, yeah, I didn't spit on
We'll
the
get
floor.
the
Yeah.
DNA samples for future generations of Matrix Bob.
Figure out how old I really am.
There
Just
we
get
go.
the DNA
That's right.
sample.
That's right.
I deposit evidence like that everywhere, but nobody follows up. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Oh, you're Kinsey.
It's easier to accept.
Kenzel these days.
Kinzel?
Yeah.
You know, I was listening. Bob brought me all of his tapes.
I didn't connect you. I have
204 tapes. I just finished transferring all of them.
I know, I came in at the end. I didn't
And
come
one
to
of
see
them was you
Ah,
and
see,
Bob having,
I knew
I
that
guess,
you were
having
not
a meal with
involved
some
stuff.
lunch.
You were a new face.
Oh, wow, that's
That's
a
the
good tape.
funniest goddamn tape I've
That's a
ever heard.
good
I just
tape.
heard bits of it. My favorite part of it was your bit. You probably don't remember this. Maybe you do.
Well,
But the guy starts talking. He gets impatient with being there. And he wants to go. And he says, he says, I've hooked up with this prostitute. And he's like starts outlining this whole
it's in New York.
like weirded out evening that he's going to do. And then he says,
It was
you and Bob.
Leonardo
He says,
DiCaprio and
you know,
Kate
hey, if you
Winslet
want to come along and
doing
join me. And your line is great. You
where
go,
they were
that's not my
trying to
scene,
do a
man.
local
And then you try to do a promo with him. You try to get a promo for Unfortunate Sonic Casualties done, and it is absolutely fruitless. The guy, you ask him to say Gerald Belanger, he says Jerry again. He can't get the call letters right, and it's just, and then eventually it's just, hi, that's great, man. And you can just tell you don't have anything there. I mean, maybe you did chop it together. Maybe you did have it. I should send it to you.
Yeah, no,
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's funny. Every time I drive, I go by one of those trailers. I always think of those guys. I always wondered what happened to them.
Still haven't cut my price.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them. At first it sounded like you and Bob had traveled to the United States. But then the tape starts out with, it's a good recording too. It's very crisp. And it starts with them getting out of a car. You
They're
meet
in
them,
they're
or-
in their trailer. Yeah, they were called monks because they traveled around in this trailer thing and had a magazine.
Well, because
And I mean, I heard bits and pieces of it. I didn't listen to the entire thing. But, in doing the processing of these tapes over the last couple of weeks, I had two machines going, two computers and two tape decks going constantly. And so I'd pick, hear little bits and pieces of, like, Bob and Mike together from 1987, stuff with Adam Vaughn from the mid-'80s.
The radio show stuff.
And I mean, when we were replaying, when we didn't feel we could actually make a program at CKLN anymore because the technical situation was just so appalling in the new studio, we reverted to playing a lot of Bob's old shows. I had them, and I thought, well, why not? They're good. So I started playing them, and you were a fairly frequent phone-in
Wow.
participant on the phone message machines and things like that.
They say that that's the day
So-
that God created.
So you made appearances on those shows.
122, remember I was.
Oh yeah.
Deluxe.
I was
And I think,
there.
yeah, it's fun to listen to all of them. If you want, do you want a copy of all that stuff?
Oh my God, what are you gonna do with it all?
I'm putting it all into DVD, and just, maybe it'll be 2 or 3 DVDs. That's about it.
You think?
whole-
Just
yeah.
keep it a little low
This was the
res.
day of the first.
Oh, it's not really low. I mean, maybe to you it's low res, but I'm doing 128 stereo.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I can't. I think.
Oh, I can't imagine 200 tapes fitting on 4 DVDs. I guess it would.
Well, yeah, it does. I think
And the
it's.
first
I've got.
airplane, the first
I got 8
parachute
gigs,
jump
maybe
out of
4,
a hot air
maybe
balloon.
4 DVDs. I got 8 gigs on one machine, 8 gigs on another, and yeah. So
Wow. It'd be cool to get it all cataloged and indexed at some point. That's what would be interesting.
well, it isn't really tremendously well put together at the moment, but it's good enough in the sense that a lot of
There's show
the dates are there.
Right. But it'd be nice to be able to go through it and say, okay, show 210 covers, you know.
Actually,
this,
Bob
this,
has
this, and
Bob
this,
has
little notes,
Bob
things
has
like
lists.
that. Yeah.
He has lists of stuff that he's made out already. And I did a lot of it too. When I did a show,
Wayne had impeccable archives.
did he really?
Yeah. If there was anything missing, he'd have it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He had amazing archives. Bob.
Really?
Everything. The whole show. Yeah.
And now we
Plus Wayne's shows were so good.
I'll come 20 seconds. It's come
Yeah.
full circle.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know what Wayne thinks of what we're doing. I haven't. I did get in touch with him, and he hasn't contacted me. But they did contact him about being on the show last year when they took over for us, because we basically got fired on a Friday, and FunFest was on Sunday, and they called Wayne, and he didn't want any part of it. And you know what was weird today? We're thinking, okay, who's Daniel and I are thinking, okay, who are they going to get to do our show this year? Do you know what they did? They put 2 hours of music. They didn't do anything. That was a weird move, I thought.
Oh, did FunFest happen already?
I think isn't it happening now?
Yeah, I guess it started Friday. Yeah.
You're in the loop, huh? Yeah. Well, you're leaving in April. Huh?
Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah, they're just be confident, Jerry. Their lawyers are delaying the stuff so much. Through. I mean, it's standard slimy lawyer stuff that they're doing. Like, for instance, they'll say, "We want to put a motion forward." Our lawyer says, "Okay, all right, fine, that's your right. So when are you going to do it?" "Okay, we'll set a court date." "All right, but I need to see what you're going to do, because I need to know, to argue it, I need to have it in hand." So he keeps sending them letters saying, "Well, I'll need it at least so many weeks in advance." And so I went in and deposited some material with him that Daniel and I had put together. And I met him in the hallway just by accident. He said, "Well, I guess they've lost interest in it." That very next day, within 3 days of a court date, like a weekend and 3 days, they submitted these motion materials, and our lawyer said, I can't, it wouldn't be in your best interest for me to go and argue this case with only 3 days preparation, 3 days warning, because he's got other stuff to do. He's not attending our case, So he's a pretty high-profile lawyer. So he just said, "I got to delay it." But then, did you read the article that was in the eye opener?
Yeah.
That was completely manufactured by Chris Drew, the RSU. That's what we found. Yeah, we found out that the reporter interviewed someone within CKLN, and that evidently they were towing the party line. And Chris Drew, the RSU guy, he said, "What did they say?" He demanded to see the reporter's notes, and then said, "That's not going in the newspaper." And then at the bottom line was that they said there was a court. The 2 parties were going to meet in court on September 23rd, but Duffel and Bashir have adjourned it. Well, we didn't tell them that. And they don't assign who told them that in the article. Basically, I believe that the article was manufactured.
She goes like
But
that?
because we didn't,
Right.
we didn't
Okay, but in the Black
facilitate
Fly,
that
what
article.
was
We
he
didn't do
did
anything
when-
to
with the
get in
bad-
touch with the
when
eye
he's
opener and say,
confronting
hey,
the
do an
bad,
article about this. Hey, we've sued them or anything like that.
and
It was,
the
we
bad
think it was
law goes like that,
manufactured
too?
within there
Wow.
for some
That's
peculiar reason.
Meanwhile-
Or it cropped up and then they had to
Yeah,
get
hand
control
signal
of
for
it.
the blind.
I think here's what it is. They're looking at your opportunity to take over. They're looking at you're kind of like you're going to be an impetus for them to take over the whole station.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be like, yeah, it's kind of like you're their Al Qaeda.
Yeah, in other words, they use him
Yeah, to take over.
consolidate
Oh, it's
more.
happening.
Like they did right there.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, it's happening.
Are you guys
And they
losing?
wouldn't have had an opportunity unless you were there to crowbar it in.
Okay, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob,
keep
nice
watching.
to
No,
see you.
come
I
with
gotta
us.
go. I gotta go.
Work?
Nice to see you, though. Yeah. I'm
Hey
in
man,
the
you get your
morning.
hair cut. When did you do that? Years
Every
ago?
morning. No.
What? Every morning?
Every morning. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you've had short hair for a long time.
Sure. Yeah. 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 It's
So-
good to see you. I'm
So,
off to work, but
did
you're
you
going
come
back
in-
to New York. You're staying another week.
Oh yeah, I'm here till November 8th. I don't know
So
if I
you
want to
can
do
come
the fun.
fundraise on my show.
I've been
Both of
thinking-
you. That'd
No,
be
no.
great.
Yeah, but wait a
You
minute.
could fundraise on
Wait
my
a minute,
show,
Jerry.
Rick.
If we went on there, we would tell people not to donate.
Exactly.
You
It'd
want
be
that?
beautiful.
Do you want that?
I do.
What do you think of that? Why don't?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
you
talk it over with
can't.
Daniel.
We'll see if
Why
I
can't
can-
I?
Oh, well, you're in court.
Are you allowed to be
Oh,
on the air there?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Let's
I'd have to talk it
check
over
with
with
Laura.
people.
But
But
potentially Wednesday we could do an International Connection reunion with him, or
You could.
or just the attitude.
You
of
know, a
International-
little 15-minute segment. You can't hijack the whole show, but yeah, a little segment.
Well, that's
Here's a little
challenging.
anti fundraising.
hey,
Walk with
hey, it's in the news.
I gotta
huh?
go.
Thanks,
So,
Jerry.
so,
see you later.
so
Yeah,
what
see
would we
you.
do? We would call just before,
Yeah.
and then we give you a number and you call us, or we
Just call in and I'll put you on the air.
Okay. So
Okay.
good to
See you later,
man.
Jerry.
Glad
Bye.
to make you. Did you show up at the beginning? And
No, I snuck in as he started the lecture.
that's why I didn't see you. Okay. You mean the lecture? You mean the movies?
I've seen the movies.
So you came at 10:30.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Is Mike Dyer gone?
No, we're going to
No?
catch
Oh,
up with him.
oh,
They're leaving
okay.
us. You going to come with us?
Where are you going?
To some restaurant.
Oh, okay.
You know, some place to hang out. Daniel didn't want to come, right?
No, I don't know.